a book review for like 2 weeks now, I think. And turns out I actually read a lot. And I finished a shit ton of books that I will never touch again because I already know what's going to happen in them. And I cannot bring myself to read them again. So, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, 1, 2, and 3. I've read all 3 in like a day, which clearly shows you I have nothing better to do anymore. But just starting off, can I just say, the books are so much better than the movies. The second movie was completely off track, completely ruined, and the book had so many better scenes that we missed out on completely. I'm going to stop saying completely now. So let's start with the first book. The first book, it was okay. Like, it's pretty much what the movie said, because the first movie was directed by someone else and the second movie had off vibes, which we do not trust. But the first one is so good. Okay, so the first book basically focuses around Lara Jean, the main character, who is 15 or 16 years old, and she writes letters every time she falls in love with someone. She writes a total of 5 letters, including Peter Kavinsky, John Ambrose, Kenny from camp, Lucas from homecoming, and Josh, who is her sister's boyfriend. And one day her letters get sent out and she has to fake date Peter Kavinsky to make sure that Josh doesn't think she's in love with him when she is. But that would be awkward because Josh is her sister's boyfriend, so she has to hide that. And pretty much Peter and Lara Jean start fake dating, and they have this whole series and journey, which you'll have to read about because I don't want to spoil. But it starts off really, really, really bad. Like, the book will be very boring at first, I can tell you, because they're just doing the intros, the character intros and everything. But I do recommend, like, out of the 3, this isn't my favorite, but I do love the emotion that's in. Okay, so the book was actually really emotional. After all, it's To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And the most memorable quote I had from this book, which I don't remember word for word, I just had to Google it, because I don't like folding pages. Like, who does? And then it said, Lara Jean said, 17 is not so young. 100 years ago, people got married when they were practically our age. And Peter replied with something really smart. Like, I don't think they gave him enough credit for being smart in the movie. Like, he wasn't smart, but he was smart, you know? And then he said, yeah, that was before electricity and the internet. 100 years ago, 18-year-old guys were out there fighting wars with bayonets and holding a man's life in their hands. They lived a lot of life by the time they were our age. What do kids our age know about love and life? And that actually hit me. It's like, we didn't do fun things. We've been here. We've been living. We've been doing basically our GCSEs. That's all we've been doing. So what do we know about love and life? Practically nothing. So it was a big setback for me because I was genuinely having an existential crisis in the middle of my book. Like, what? What am I doing in my life? Why am I not doing something? But overall, that was basically the book. By the way, they didn't actually, like, in the book, they didn't get together in the book. In this book, it took them a lot longer. But the whole hot tub scene and stuff did happen, like, in the movie, which you might want to read because it was so much better in the book. Like, they had so much more emotion, the lines were better, everything was there. And the whole scandal, the thing that got out, they handled it way better in the book. Like, the way it got out, it was way better handled and explained in the book. So I really do recommend the first book compared to the movie, but the movie is also great. It does depict everything that the book wanted to be depicted. Okay, in full honesty, this book, it has such a pretty cover. Like, I love that colour on the side. I just love it. It matches my walls, so it's great. And not gonna lie, that looks more like Genevieve, Lara Jean's ex-best friend, also Peter Kavinsky's ex-girlfriend. Yes, you'll read and you'll find out, but his ex-girlfriend in the book. And yeah, it was a bit trippy because, like, she really does look like Genevieve from the movies. But about the actual book, where do I start? Okay, so John Ambrose makes a comeback. That was great. Like, it was not great, but I personally love John Ambrose. For myself, for Lara, I think he was amazing for Lara Jean. But Peter Kavinsky, in this book, he was such a dickhead, and I didn't want to deal with it. Like, I was really annoyed with Peter Kavinsky in this entire book, and I had a whole tantrum over it about how he was such a good guy, and I just couldn't reason I was so annoyed with Peter in this book is because he stood up for Genevieve constantly. He stood up for Genevieve, and I was there like, dude, your girlfriend, go for her. Go for your girlfriend, not for the girl who literally broke your heart. But then, like, there's something in the book that they said about junk, and I will probably find the quote later because I don't remember the page anymore. And the thing about, I'll explain that later, the junk thing, but it literally reminded me that Peter and Genevieve have this connection, and so do Lara Jean and Genevieve. So either way, she will be a part of their lives. But what really hurt me is that once you find out what Genevieve did, that's what hurts. That Peter still stood up for her after finding out what she did. And then here's something the movie did not mention. Stormy is how do I explain Stormy? Stormy is like one of the characters in this book. So Stormy is like, Lara Jean goes to volunteer at an old people's home. I forgot what they're called. But she goes to volunteer there because her sister volunteered there and it looks good in college applications. And that's where she meets Stormy, who, I'm not going to tell you who she is. You'll find out for yourselves. But it's something the movies didn't mention, but the book did. And it had me a bit shook because I was like, what? Wow, that was a big thing for the book to miss. And, yeah, but she's pretty much a main character. You grow to love her. Like, her personality is so good. She's so outgoing, spontaneous, and she has so many great stories for Lara Jean. And I think she really shapes the way Lara Jean sees love and life in general. And, well, I just really like the way that Stormy helped Lara Jean grow as a character, that you see in like the second, like near the middle end of the second book. And in the last book, you really see how much Stormy had an effect on her. What I really didn't like about this book, but I guess it's realistic, like it's a book, so it has to be a bit realistic. What I didn't like is Peter and Lara Jean's relationship. I felt Peter was a bit off. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. He should have been telling Lara Jean the truth from the start. Like, I know he couldn't, but I think she deserved at least a bit of an apology or like an explanation. And I didn't like how Lara Jean was, I guess that's fair, like if your boyfriend was sneaking around, you'd get a bit pissed too. So I guess I can't really blame her for not being that trusting of Peter, especially considering all the things Genevieve said to get in her head. I explained it better, but like Lara Jean and Peter had a contract that they made for their relationship, and it's like something that keeps them together. And it was a big focus in the first book and the second book, but I just forgot to mention it for some reason, but it was so big in the books. And like, one of the best characters in the book was John Ambrose by far. The movie didn't really show the relationship that John and Peter had a relationship. Obviously, they were best friends. And I think the movie didn't show that enough, but the book did. It really showed how good friends they were and how good friends they still have been. But you could see Peter's jealousy with him and like John Ambrose and Lara Jean. But John Ambrose and Lara Jean, they had a better connection with them. Like, it was so much better in the book. They had more scenes together. They had more dialogues. There was this one scene in the book that tipped everything off scales. Like, I was just reading it and it was like amazing. And I for a minute started shipping John Ambrose and Lara Jean just because of what Peter did in the book. John Ambrose and Lara Jean had such a better like relationship in the books. They had something a lot more than the movie gave, and that's why I say read the books, because there is this one scene that I told you about. It flips everything. It's just amazing. It has so much chemistry, so much, and you can really see like the love that Lara Jean used to have for John Ambrose. 3 quotes I really loved from this book, because it was literally 3 of them. The first one was, people come in and out of your life. For a time they are your world, they are everything, but then one day they're not. There's no telling how long you'll have them near. I couldn't read for a second. Basically about that is just, it kind of hit, like, it hit different. Because, you know, I'm like kind of used to people walking out, but like kind of not. So it was just weird, but it really it hit home, and it was like, you know what, that's life. The song in the background, it's Moral of the Story by Ash, and Ashay? I don't know. That's what they said, like, forgot the lyrics already, but it's fine. It was just that, and then they were talking about it, and it just, like, it made sense. I'm ranting about something now, but like, some mistakes are made. I'm not saying people are mistakes, but, like, sometimes you have to, like, be with you have to be around a certain group of people, and it just doesn't work. Or, like, you have to be with a certain person, it just doesn't work. But then it's, like, in a way, it's helping you get to the next stage in your life. They're helping you grow. They're helping you, like, figure out what you did wrong, or what you don't like, or what you do like. And that's how life works. It puts you back in circles. The quote I really liked in the book was something that it made so much sense. There's a Korean word my grandma taught me. It's called jung. It's the connection between two people that can't be severed. Even when love turns to hate, you still have those old feelings for them. You can't ever completely shake them loose of you. You will always have tenderness in your heart for them. And this kind of hit. Like, I know I'm saying that for every quote I'm reading, but, like, all of these applied somehow. And, like, the person who it's about, I don't think they're on this story. I don't think I added them, or I even have them on Snapchat anymore. But, like, it's true, because you always have the tenderness in your heart for them. You always just have that connection between you. And if anyone's heard the song "If the World Was Ending," that's basically what you have with that person. That if the world was ending, you'd, like, be there for them. And I'm ranting again, but that's just life, so we move. And the last quote was said by Lara Jean, and it had Peter Kavinsky inside it, and it was one of the most adored scenes that I really liked in the book. And it was basically Lara Jean saying, "In the contract we said we wouldn't break each other's hearts. What if we do it again?" Fiercely he says, "What if we do? If we're so guarded, it's not going to be anything. Let's do it. Beep. For real, Lara Jean, let's go all in. No more contract, no more safety net. You can break my heart, do whatever you want with it." And I think that was, like, the moment I knew that Peter Kavinsky genuinely really, really liked Lara Jean, like, practically loved her. Because you don't ask someone to voluntarily break your heart, because that hurts. And then if, like, you must really love someone just if you don't mind them breaking your heart. And that was basically it. I think that was one of the cutest scenes in the book. I think that's how they wrapped it all together. And dragged this out for a really long time. I'm actually exhausted by the end of this, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. Basically, they do, like, a trip to New York thing in this book, which you'll have to read about. It's basically the ski trip was so much better. And then they have a beach week thing. It's just amazing, like, the topics they cover in this book about their future, how Lara Jean and Peter Kavinsky's relationship just, like, takes new levels. It's just so perfect. It's just wrapped up. It's amazing. One of my favorite quotes from this book was from chapter 24, and I actually remember it because I read this recently. And it was like, "The end of school always has a particular feeling to it. It's the same every year, but this year the feeling is amplified because we won't be there next year. There's an air of things closing down." Like, that hit, because as year 11s we kind of didn't get our year, like, that we wanted and how it to end. So it was just, like, it related, like, everything was so much more amplified on the last day. I don't know if I was the only one feeling it, but it was. And there was so much more, like, hype. And so we didn't get our last day, but it's okay, you know, life has its course. But the thing is, I would have liked the last day, but it's okay. And the last quote that I really like from this book and this entire series, I just ended it perfectly, was, "At college, when people ask us how we met, how will we answer them? The short story is we grew up together, but that's more Josh's and my story. High school sweethearts, that's Peter's and Jen's story. So what's ours then? I suppose I'll say it all started with a love letter." That was so cute. Like, it did, because it did. Their story did start with a love letter, and it was just really amazing. And it made me cry with that last sentence. And if I drag this out, I'm gonna be so exhausted, because this took a lot of effort, and I never realized how much talking it requires to, like, do book reviews. So we'll see if I continue this, but I'm tired now. You genuinely did stick around to the end, to the end of the story. Thank you, firstly. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'll just drop out the story. Ask me if you don't want to be in here, and I'll just drop it out. But, like, if you did enjoy it, tell me what book you want next, because I probably have read it. If I haven't, I'll try and read it and I'll add it to my list. But if you did enjoy it, drop a like and subscribe. That was so cheesy. I'm never doing that again. But thank you. My phone's at 7%.